Welcome everyone to my first 1v1 tournament. It's going to be a lot of fun, so let's get straight into it. First off, I want to say if you haven't entered already, don't worry. Most likely there will be someone, if not a couple people, that don't turn up on the day, so I can easily sub you into play if you turn up. It's going to start at 7 PM UK time on Friday. Also, it's going to be great to watch, so don't miss it anyway, even if you haven't entered. Okay, so I'm going to be streaming every game. So when it's your turn, I will invite both of you. Make sure you're set online, obviously. The person on the opposite team will have to kill me, then wait until both of you are ready. So don't attack before both of you are ready. Emotes aren't necessary, but it's a nice way to make both of you aware that you're ready to fight. Also, I've picked maps without ledges, but if I see people making their strategy just to ledge, they will be disqualified as well. I don't mind ledges in normal games and where like you just throw a heavy or a zone and it knocks someone off, but this tournament's more about the skill of the player in the actual fight, not just pressing square twice. So if that's your plan, don't even bother trying. It's not that sort of tournament. Games will be best of 3 rounds, best of 3 games. So they're really short games, just first to 2 in the game and then first to 2 in the whole set. Semi-finals will be a little bit different. It will be best of 5, so a normal dual length with best of 3 games, and the finals will be best of 5 rounds and best of 5 games. As for maps, I will cycle through 4 maps that I've selected at randoms that include very little amount of ledges, just enough so I can get ledged in the beginning of the round so I can spectate. As for respect, no hitting before the fight has begun, as I've already said. You'll get 1 warning and then a DQ. Don't emote spam loads as well. It's not against the rules, but let's have some like respect. I don't really want like a load of salty kids emote spamming and ledging and all that. I want some actual really good fights. Don't get salty if you lose as well. There's always next time. There's no need to say hateful things about your opponent if they're playing a character that you think is too strong and stuff like that. Let's just keep that to a minimum. Let's have a nice clean tournament and a lot of respect. As for rules, no exploits. That goes without saying really, but this includes anything that isn't meant to be in the game that gives you a distinct advantage. I don't mind things like emote tech or even like the invisible dash with Shinobi, stuff that just throws off your opponent because they haven't seen it before. That's fine, but stuff where you're getting a distinct advantage, like for example with Shinobi his quad dash, that gives him an advantage because he can dash faster, and that I'm not allowing in this tournament. Obviously, more obvious things include stuff like GV feints, that's obviously not allowed. Unlocks, feinting on blockables that shouldn't be feinted, like sense kick. I know people have been doing it with Nobushi kick as well. So stuff like that, if you do that, you get 1 warning, and then you're out. As well, another thing that I want to say is, if you use something by accident, so you accidentally GB flicker or something mid-round, then and I will be able to tell if it's an accident or not, then we'll just reset that round. We'll just replay that round. But if you're doing it on purpose, and I will be able to tell, the round will go to the other person, and you get 1 warning, and then if you do it again, you're out. Also, for the sake of this tournament, as it's a very like kind of controversial topic at the moment, I'm not going to be allowing the heavy on a light bash with Conk. Now, the only reason, in my opinion, it's fine, because the devs have said they're not going to patch it out because the rework soon, and Conk's pretty bad anyway. But a lot of people still say it wasn't intended to be in the game. So for the sake of this tournament, I'm going to ban it to stop that sort of argument happening. Okay, so now I want to move on to connection. Connection is something that I don't think many tournaments cover, because the really good tournaments are all LAN, and then the other ones aren't moderated very heavily, but obviously this being streamed, it's going to be moderated a lot more heavily. So connection is something I'm going to look for. If a player is extremely laggy and it's like noticeable by me and the stream, and you can see like visually see him teleporting or attacks at instant or anything like that, I'll give them a chance to reset their internet or fix their connection. If it doesn't work and they come back and it's still bad, you're gonna have to forfeit. It's not anything personal, but it's kind of unfair to let one person who's got bad connection just rise up through the tournament purely through the fact no one can react to his attacks. So that is something I'm gonna have to um, disqualify you for if your internet is that bad. If it's just bad at times and stuff like that, it shouldn't be too bad. It's only if it's like unplayable. Now, cross region, as this tournament is mainly for fun and um, there's no money involved or anything like that, I don't mind NA, even though I'm EU and most of the people entering are EU. I have got NA players entering, so that's something the EU players should be aware of. Now, usually I play with NA people, and usually things aren't bad. Sometimes certain attacks are quite hard to parry, but it's not unplayable, and you should still have a fair fight. And bear in mind, it's on both ends, so the NA will see attacks fast, and the EU will see attacks fast. So it's not just you. As annoying as it can be, it's fair in a sense. So I don't mind the NA EU, but if it's noticeable, it's kind of the same as the connection. I'm going to be more lenient towards the EU because obviously I'm EU and I'm hosting from the EU. So if we see NA players that are teleporting and shit like that, you're just going to have to forfeit. But if it's fine and some attacks are a little bit fast, but it's not unplayable, I don't mind that whatsoever. So best of luck to anyone who's entering the tournament. Friday at 7 p.m. is start time. Obviously, if you're later in the bracket, you're going to be playing later in the tournament, so it's not going to be a dead PM start. But for the people in the beginning of the bracket, it's going to be a 7 p.m. start. Stream's going to start at 5:45, if not 5:30. So look for that. I'm going to bring up the bracket now so you can see. We have one missing player on it at the moment, but that spot should get filled. If not, he will just get a bye and move on to the next fight. But this is the bracket at the moment, and then obviously we do have a game for third place, so the losers of the semi-finals will go together to fight in the bronze match. So best of luck of everyone entering. Don't forget to catch the stream, and best of luck.